Final Fantasy, one of the most prestigious and long-running series of all time. It has basically shaped the way role-playing games are made and has become the standard for many of the mechanics used in modern-day RPGs. In that long-running series, there are several flagship games that stand out as head and shoulders above the rest. I'm here to talk about one such game, Final Fantasy VI, or 3 as it was labeled in North America, often dubbed one of the greatest RPGs of all time. Today, I'll be talking about some of the things that made Final Fantasy VI such an iconic game. Just a fair warning to everyone watching, this video will contain game spoilers. So if you haven't played this game yet and don't want any spoilers, you'd best go play it now, and then come back and watch this video. Well, you've been warned. There are several more adult themes and concepts that Squaresoft used throughout many of their games. Coming out in 1994, Final Fantasy VI explored the normal themes found present in many of the Final Fantasy games, and a few more controversial themes that hadn't been touched at the time. One common recurring theme in many of the Final Fantasy games is genocide. There is always an evil empire or an evil entity exterminating villages of people or wiping out entire nations. Final Fantasy VI is no exception. From the extermination of the people of Doma by poisoning, to the mass worldwide genocide done by Kefka when he created the world of Ruin. Touching on the more controversial side of things, this game tackled issues like suicide. When Celeste woke up on an island after Kefka threw the world into ruin, her only companion there was her old acquaintance Cid, who, after a short side quest, can either live or die. If he dies, Celeste, out of anguish and despair, throws herself off a cliff in an attempt to end her life. A few other themes covered include teenage pregnancy, genetic modification, and interspecies breeding, I guess? Aside from unique themes, Final Fantasy VI also added several unique mechanics to the game that really set it apart from the rest. Examples of this include Sabin's Blitz command, where you enter a series of specific button inputs to unleash devastating special attacks, much like Street Fighter. Or Go-Go, a hidden character whose command menu is totally customizable, meaning you can make him into any kind of character you want. One of my favorite mechanics they had in this game was split party dungeons and scenarios. At several points in the game, you were required to form 2 to 3 separate parties to clear a scenario or dungeon. This made you really plan out your parties to make sure one party didn't get overwhelmed by using only weaker members, as well as requiring you to strategically switch between parties to clear a puzzle or to protect a weak or useless target. Looking at you, Bannon, you crazy monkey man. Possibly one of the best things about this game is the characters. With a total of 14 permanent characters, along with several other one-time use characters, this has the largest character pool out of any core Final Fantasy game. Not only that, but each character has its own backstory, with some being more ingrained in the main plot than others, but it really gives you a large and robust story, with each character having their own motivations for joining you. While each character has no specific class, they each come with a special ability. This allows you to build a party with different skills that will help you get past certain monsters or dungeons. For instance, do you like gambling? Well, if you use Setzer, you can use his dice weapons and slot skill to add an infuriating, totally RNG mechanic to the game. How about dancing? Well, if you use Mog, you can use his dance ability. That oftentimes fails, and then he just does nothing. The possibilities are endless. Another great thing about this game are the many secrets found throughout while playing it. The secrets range from items and espers to characters and quests. At a count of 27 espers, most of them you will receive as you finish the story normally, but several of them aren't quite as easy to find. For example, the espers Zone Seek and Golem are found by going to the auction house in Jadur, and at a fixed chance they will be an item up for auction. Or, in the ancient castle in the world of Ruin, in the main throne room, if you press a secret switch on the stairs, it opens up an entrance into the basement. There, you will find a statue that if you interact with it while in possession of the Esper Odin, will transform the Esper into Raiden. Aside from items and Espers, there are several secrets that are character specific, including character skills, backstory, and quests. For example, did you know that Shadow is actually Realm's father? If you save Shadow on the floating continent, and then get him again in the world of Ruin, If you sleep at any inn with Shadow in your party, at a fixed chance you'll get a flashback of his past life. Up to 5 different dreams can be seen, and through these dreams, you find out that Shadow had a life in Thamasa, and a daughter. The developers added further hints to the game to let on that this was the case, such as when you first meet Strago in Realm. Interceptor, Shadow's dog, who supposedly doesn't like people, seems to know and even like Realm. Or the Relic Memento Ring, with the description, "Ring blessed by departed mother's love," which can only be worn by Realm, and oddly enough, Shadow. There are several character abilities that are only found by completing not-so-obvious quests, such as unlocking Cyan's sword tech abilities. These can be attained by going into Doma Castle in the World of Ruin and sleeping in one of the rooms in the castle with Cyan and your party. This triggers a dungeon that you must complete with the remaining 3 members. Upon completion, Cyan's sword tech abilities all become unlocked. Don't even get me started though on how annoying they are to use.
Two hours later.
My god. Another hidden ability is Sabin's ultimate blitz, Bum Rush. This can be obtained by walking over an odd-looking tree formation in the World of Ruin, where you find out Sabin's master Duncan is still alive, after previously being implied that he was killed by his son Vargas. Duncan then has one last training session with Sabin and teaches him Bum Rush. It is all these hidden secrets and more that made Final Fantasy VI extremely fun to play, as well as having little things you may not find or notice until even your 10th playthrough of the game, that allow it to stay fresh and replayable for years to come. It would be impossible to talk about Final Fantasy VI without mentioning the spawning of perhaps the greatest villain of all time, Kefka. Much akin to the Joker from Batman, Kefka seems to just want to watch the world burn. Right from our first meeting of Kefka, where he tells his subordinates to brush off his boots because he had sand on them, in the middle of the desert, you get a feeling that he is a bit kooky and perhaps off his rocker. Even his goofy sounding theme music further paints the picture that he is a bit odd. Being quirky from his personality, right down to his wardrobe, he is a villain you can't help but love. Getting past his oddball personality and appearance, you soon find out he's a total maniac with no regard for human life. Even in his final fight, he states all he wants is to destroy all life, hope, and dreams. Being the first test subject in the Empire's Magitech experiments to give humans magical powers, he underwent the procedure before the process was perfected. Because of this, the procedure warped his mind and left him completely insane. His sadistic nature and maniacal laughter and behavior makes him the perfect antagonist for this game. One thing that sets Kefka apart from a lot of other villains is that he actually achieves his goals. He becomes all-powerful and destroys the world along with millions of lives. After attaining his godlike powers, he rules over the world with an iron fist, bringing his light of judgment down on anyone who won't bow down before him. He rules like this for over a year before our heroes rise up to stop him. For all these reasons, along with his witty one-liners woven in throughout the game, makes him one of the most memorable bad guys of all time. Finally, it wouldn't be a Final Fantasy game without music from Nobuo Uematsu, the longtime composer for nearly every core Final Fantasy game. Uematsu does an amazing job in this game, making a different theme song for each character. Each theme song wonderfully captures what the character's personality is like, ranging from sad and confused to strong and proud. Along with the standard overworld, dungeon, and battle themes, Uematsu did an outstanding job creating the boss battle themes in this game. Several of these iconic songs have been included in other Final Fantasy games, as well as having been on several produced albums, including ones put out by Uematsu's band, the Black Mages. The Decisive Battle, which is the main boss battle theme in Final Fantasy VI, was one of the most popular songs in the game, spawning hundreds of covers on YouTube, and for a good reason. With a fast beat and great backing drums, it really gets your blood pumping, and you definitely know you aren't in just any normal battle. Not to be outdone, Dancing Mad, the final boss theme, is one of Uematsu's most famous songs. It boasts a track that is over 17 minutes long. With a very neoclassical feel and using synthesized voices, it makes an epic ending to the game. Honorable mentions go to the alternate boss theme, Battle to the Death, that replaced the normal theme for a few boss battles, including Atmo Weapon. This song gave a sense of dread like no other, and definitely made you fear for your party's life during the battle. In closing, this was one of the best RPGs I personally have ever played, and with a quick internet search, you will see that it is a crowd favorite among many other RPG lovers. If you've never played this game before, do yourself a favor and check it out. I cannot recommend this game enough. If you like what you saw in this video and would like to see more, please let me know in the comments. If you really liked what you saw, please drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Every bit counts and is much appreciated. Well, that's all I have for today, so I'll see you guys next time.